fresh off my deep dive into the most haunted places in Texas where everything, including the spirits, was bigger. And I decided it was time to leave the US for a bit. Why? Because ghosts aren't just lurking in American basements and abandoned hospitals. Nope, they're global. And I figured it was time to see what the supernatural scene looks like overseas. So I packed my bags, grabbed my EMF meter, okay, let's be real, just my phone flashlight, and hopped on a flight to Japan. Tokyo might be known for its neon lights, high-tech gadgets, and next-level sushi, but it also has a dark side. Beneath all that modern beauty, there are stories of samurai spirits, haunted tunnels, and ghosts who didn't get the memo that their shift in the afterlife was supposed to be over centuries ago. And let me tell you, Japan takes ghost stories seriously. If you thought your grandma's old house felt spooky, wait until you hear about some of these places. So buckle up, because we're about to dive into the most haunted locations in Tokyo, where the ghosts are ancient, the legends are terrifying, and honestly, I might regret ever stepping foot in some of these places. Let's get into it. Welcome to Screamville. Tokyo's history is soaked in blood and tragedy. Built on ancient battles and natural disasters, Tokyo's past is dark. Restless souls linger, seeking peace or revenge. From samurai clashes to World War II, darkness prevails. Echoes of these events resonate, marking the city's soul. Nestled in the heart of Tokyo, just a stone's throw from the Ryogoku Kokugikan National Sumo Arena, Yokoamicho Park is not just a peaceful green space. It's also one of the most haunted locations in the city. If you think sumo wrestling is intense, wait until you hear about the supernatural smackdowns happening here. The park holds a tragic past, and its resident spirits seem to have stuck around to remind visitors of the horrors that unfolded here nearly a century ago. The story begins on September 1st, 1923, when the Great Kanto earthquake rocked Japan. With a magnitude of 7.9, this was no gentle nudge from Mother Nature. It was a full-on demolition job. The quake itself was devastating, but the real catastrophe came afterward. Fires broke out across the city, and in a tragic twist of fate, over 38,000 people sought refuge in a former Army clothing depot at what is now Yokoamicho Park. Unfortunately, their safe haven quickly turned into an inferno when a 90-meter-high fire tornado, yes, that's a thing, engulfed the area, killing nearly everyone in its path. Only about 300 people managed to survive. If you're wondering what a fire tornado is, imagine a regular tornado, but with flames spiraling out of control like a scene from an apocalyptic horror movie. These fiery whirlwinds were created by a combination of high temperatures, strong winds, and flammable materials. A perfect storm for disaster. In mere minutes, thousands perished in one of the most horrifying natural disasters in history. And as if that weren't enough, the site then became a mass crematorium for the victims. That's right, one minute it was an evacuation center, the next it was a giant funeral pyre. In the early 1930s, Japan decided to memorialize the victims with a grand structure, the Tokyo Memorial Hall, designed by renowned architect Chuta Ito. But because Tokyo apparently can't catch a break, World War II brought yet another wave of destruction. The Tokyo firebombing of 1945 wiped out vast parts of the city, and the Memorial Hall was no exception. It was later rebuilt in 1951 and renamed Tokyo to Ireido, or the Tokyo Metropolitan Hall of Repose. Today, the hall serves as a place to honor those who perished in both the earthquake and the war, standing as a solemn reminder of Tokyo's resilience and, of course, its lingering ghosts. Now, on to the spooky stuff. Visitors to Yokoamicho Park have reported eerie encounters that range from unsettling to downright terrifying. Disembodied voices whisper through the air, footsteps echo when no one is around, and some have even claimed to see shadowy figures lurking near the Ireido Hall. Given that thousands of souls met their tragic end here, it's no surprise that the spiritual energy is off the charts. One of the most common ghostly sightings involves figures dressed in early 20th century clothing, wandering the park as if still searching for an escape route. Others have reported sudden drops in temperature, strange lights flickering, and the overwhelming scent of burning when there is no fire to be found. It's as if the echoes of that fiery disaster still play out in an endless loop. Some visitors have also experienced the sensation of being watched, especially near the memorial. Paranormal investigators have reported high electromagnetic readings in certain areas, which, for those who don't speak ghost hunter lingo, basically means there's some serious spirit activity going on. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, you'd have to admit that this place has some serious eerie vibes. Of course, skeptics might say that all these ghostly encounters are just the result of an overactive imagination or the power of suggestion. But let's be honest. When you're standing in a park that once turned into a literal inferno of death, you can't help but feel like you're not alone. Whether you're a thrill seeker looking for a paranormal experience, or just someone who enjoys history with a side of horror, Yoko Amicho Park and the Iredo Hall are must-visit spots in Tokyo. Just remember, if you hear whispers in the wind or see a shadowy figure out of the corner of your eye, maybe don't stick around to introduce yourself. The old Komen Tunnel, located on the border between Hachioji City and Akiruno City in western Tokyo, is steeped in a dark and haunting history. Originally serving as a vital passage through the Akikawa Highway, the tunnel has since become notorious for its association with eerie legends and unsettling occurrences. Between 1988 and 1989, Japan was shaken by the heinous crimes of Tsutomu Miyazaki, a serial killer who abducted and took the lives of 4 young girls. One of his victims, a 7-year-old girl, was found near the Komin Ridge after being missing for nearly a year. Miyazaki had mutilated her body, severing her hands and feet, which fueled chilling rumors of a handless ghost haunting the area. In response to these tragedies and the tunnel's growing infamy, a new Komin tunnel was constructed in 2002, rendering the old passage obsolete. The original tunnel, now abandoned and in disrepair, has become a magnet for thrill seekers and paranormal enthusiasts, drawn by tales of supernatural encounters. Visitors to the old Komin tunnel have reported a range of unsettling experiences. Some recount feeling sudden chills or the sensation of being touched by unseen entities. Others claim to hear disembodied sounds, such as the faint ringing of a bell or the distant echo of footsteps, adding to the tunnel's eerie atmosphere. One particularly harrowing account describes a cyclist passing through the tunnel who felt a cold, wet grip on his ankle, despite seeing nothing there. Overcome with an inexplicable sense of dread, he fled the area, later realizing the tunnel's connection to the 1988 murders. The legend of the handless ghost persists, with numerous sightings reported over the years. Witnesses describe a young girl often seen waving or standing silently, her arms ending abruptly at the wrists. These apparitions are believed to be the restless spirit of Miyazaki's victim, eternally bound to the site of her demise. Despite, or perhaps because of, its grim reputation, the old Komen Tunnel continues to attract those curious about the paranormal. However, locals often warn against visiting, citing not only the site's tragic past, but also the potential dangers of exploring a deteriorating structure. The tunnel's haunted status has been further cemented by its inclusion in various media highlighting Japan's most notorious ghost spots. Its chilling history and reported supernatural phenomena have made it a subject of fascination for both domestic and international audiences. While the old Komin Tunnel stands as a somber reminder of past atrocities, it also serves as a testament to the enduring nature of local folklore. The stories surrounding the tunnel continue to evolve, blending historical events with supernatural elements and ensuring its place in Japan's rich tapestry of haunted locales. Sunshine 60, a skyscraper that has seen more history than your grandma's attic. Nestled in Tokyo's bustling Ikebukuro district, this 60-story marvel isn't just a building. It's a testament to Japan's resilience and flair for the dramatic. Let's start with a plot twist worthy of a Hollywood blockbuster. Before Sunshine 60 graced the skyline, the site was home to the notorious Sugamo prison. This wasn't your average time-out corner. It housed war criminals, including former Prime Minister Hideki Tojo. Fast forward to 1978, and voila, a gleaming skyscraper stands tall as if to say, what prison? Upon its completion, Sunshine 60 wasn't just the tallest building in Japan. It was the tallest in Asia, reaching a height of 239.7 meters, 786 feet. And those elevators? They zoomed at a blistering 600 meters per minute, 2,000 feet per minute, making them the fastest in the world at the time. Forget roller coasters. This was the real thrill ride. Why stop at offices? when you can have an entire ecosystem? Sunshine 60 is part of the sprawling Sunshine City complex, which includes an aquarium, planetarium, theater, museum, shopping center, and even Ikabukuro's beloved Pokemon Center. It's like someone took all of Tokyo's attractions and stacked them vertically. Perched on the 60th floor is the Tenbu Park Observatory, an indoor garden in the sky. At 251 meters above sea level, it offers 360-degree panoramic views of Tokyo. On a clear day, you might even spot Mount Fuji playing peekaboo. And the best part? You can enjoy this spectacle 365 days a year, without worrying about the weather raining on your parade. Locals and visitors alike have reported strange occurrences in and around the building. Some claim to have felt a chilling presence in the elevators, which, given their insane speed, could just be the fear of motion sickness. But still, others say they've seen shadowy figures lurking in hallways or even caught glimpses of ghostly reflections in the building's many windows. One of the most persistent legends is that executed spirits still linger, unable to move on. Security guards working the night shift have reported hearing disembodied whispers or feeling a sudden drop in temperature on otherwise warm evenings. And let's not forget Sunshine 60's observation deck at night, an eerie setting for those who claim to have seen phantom figures standing at the edge, only to disappear when approached. Now, whether or not the building is truly haunted is up for debate, but considering its grim past, it wouldn't be surprising if a few lost souls still roam the hallways. Want to test the theory? Take a solo trip to the 60th floor late at night and let me know what you find. Just don't blame me if you end up riding the elevator with an invisible passenger. In the heart of bustling Tokyo, a city that never sleeps, lies a place of perpetual silence. Aoyama Cemetery, a sprawling necropolis, stands as a stark reminder of life's fleeting nature. Towering trees cast long shadows over moss-covered tombstones, creating an eerie stillness that muffles the city's relentless hum. Established in 1872, Aoyama Cemetery is the resting place for over 800,000 souls. Among them lie politicians, artists, and war heroes, their stories etched in stone, their presence lingering in the air. But not all who reside here found peace in death. Restless spirits, bound to the earthly realm by unfinished business or tragic circumstances, roam the cemetery's winding paths. A palpable sense of history hangs heavy in Aoyama Cemetery. The weight of countless lives lived and lost seeps into the very ground beneath your feet. It's a place where the veil between the living and the dead feels thin, where the whispers of the past echo through the trees. As you walk through the cemetery's grand entrance, the city's noise fades away, replaced by an unsettling quietude. The air grows heavy, thick with the scent of incense and the unspoken stories of those laid to rest. You've entered a realm where the living and the dead coexist, where the line between reality and the spectral realm blurs with every step. A sense of unease settles upon you as you navigate the maze of tombstones. The air grows colder, and the shadows seem to lengthen, reaching out like grasping hands. Locals whisper of strange occurrences within the cemetery's walls, unexplained chills, disembodied voices, and fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures darting between the tombs. One of the most persistent tales is that of the Hitobashira, or human pillars. Legend has it that during the cemetery's construction, workers were buried alive within the foundation. Their souls, trapped and tormented, are said to cry out in anguish, their voices echoing through the cemetery at night. Visitors claim to hear whispers carried on the wind, unintelligible murmurs that send shivers down their spines. Some even report feeling a cold hand on their shoulder, or a sudden gust of wind that seems to emanate from nowhere. Whether these are the cries of the Hitobashira, or simply the wind playing tricks on the mind, the unsettling feeling persists. Aoyama Cemetery is a place where the living can pay their respects to the departed. However, it's also a place where the spirits of the dead make their presence known. It's a solemn reminder that even in death, some stories remain untold, some souls remain restless. As twilight descends upon Aoyama Cemetery, casting an eerie glow upon the tombstones, the stories take on a more sinister tone. Deep within the cemetery's heart lies a small, secluded area whispered to be the most haunted spot in all of Aoyama. It's here that the legend of the headless torso unfolds, a tale that chills the blood of even the most skeptical visitor. The story goes that a young woman driven to despair by a broken heart or perhaps a darker secret took her own life within the cemetery walls. However, in a gruesome twist of fate, her body was discovered incomplete, her head missing, never to be found. Since then, visitors have reported seeing a spectral figure, a woman dressed in white, wandering aimlessly through this isolated section. Her form is said to be incomplete, a horrifying apparition lacking a head, her vacant neck a gruesome testament to her tragic end. Some say she's searching for her missing head, her soul unable to find peace until it's reunited with her body. Whether the tale of the headless torso is true or simply a figment of active imaginations, it adds another layer of fear to Aoyama Cemetery's already eerie atmosphere. It serves as a reminder that death doesn't always offer a peaceful release. For some, it's merely a continuation of their torment, a prison of their own making. But the headless torso isn't the only restless spirit said to roam Aoyama Cemetery. The sheer number of souls laid to rest within its grounds creates a palpable energy. An overwhelming sense of sorrow, longing, and perhaps even anger permeates the air. Visitors speak of being watched, of feeling a sudden chill, or hearing disembodied whispers following them through the maze of tombstones. As darkness envelops the cemetery, the line between the world of the living and the realm of the dead seems to dissolve entirely. The rustling leaves sound like soft footsteps, and the shadows dance with an eerie life of their own. It's in these quiet, dark corners of the cemetery that the veil thins, and the spirits of the departed feel free to roam. Among the many ghostly tales associated with Aoyama Cemetery, the story of the Weeping Woman stands out as particularly poignant. It's a story of love, loss, and the enduring power of grief. A tale that transcends cultural boundaries and speaks to the universal language of the heart. Legend has it that a young woman, heartbroken over the death of her lover, would visit his grave every day, rain or shine. She would sit for hours, tears streaming down her face, mourning his untimely demise. Her grief was so profound, so all-consuming, that it's said she wept herself to death, her spirit forever bound to the cemetery grounds. To this day, visitors claim to hear the mournful sobs of a woman echoing through the cemetery, especially on rainy days or during the cherry blossom season, a time when love and loss are keenly felt in Japanese culture. Some even report seeing a solitary figure dressed in a white kimono, kneeling before a tombstone, her body racked with sobs. Whether these stories are true or simply products of overactive imaginations, they contribute to Aoyama Cemetery's eerie ambiance. The cemetery is not just a place of mourning, but also a place where the living can connect with the spirits of the departed. It's a place where the veil between worlds thins, where the energy of countless lives lived and lost lingers in the air. The ground beneath the cemetery is steeped in history, marked by both joy and sorrow, love and loss. Each tombstone tells a story, a testament to a life once lived. It's no wonder that Aoyama Cemetery is considered one of Tokyo's most haunted places. It's a place where the past and present collide, where the energy of countless souls creates an atmosphere that is both unsettling and undeniably captivating. Aoyama Cemetery stands as a solemn reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of the human spirit, both in life and in death. Aoyama Cemetery attracts not only those seeking solace or paying respects to loved ones, but also those fascinated by the paranormal. Paranormal investigators and thrill-seekers alike venture into the cemetery's depths, armed with EMF readers, EVP recorders, and cameras, hoping to capture evidence of the supernatural activity that is said to be rampant within its walls. They come seeking answers, hoping to communicate with the restless spirits that roam the grounds. They want to understand the stories behind the legends to prove that life after death exists and to connect with the other side. The silence of Aoyama Cemetery, often deafening in the face of grief, becomes a canvas onto which these investigators project their hopes and fears. But whether they find the answers they seek or simply encounter more questions, one thing is certain: Aoyama Cemetery leaves a lasting impression. It's a place that lingers in the mind long after you've left its gates, a constant reminder of the mysteries that lie beyond our understanding. Aoyama Cemetery, with its eerie beauty and haunting tales, stands as a microcosm of Tokyo itself. Just as the city embraces its modern identity while honoring its ancient traditions, Aoyama Cemetery serves as a bridge between the world of the living and the realm of the dead. Tokyo, a city that never sleeps, also remembers. Leaving behind Aoyama Cemetery, we venture deeper into Tokyo's urban jungle. Our next destination, Akasaka Weekly Mansion, a seemingly ordinary apartment building with an extraordinary secret. Built in the 1970s. The Akasaka neighborhood is known for its mix of modern buildings and historic sites. It quickly became a popular choice for affordable housing. But beneath the veneer of normalcy, a sinister undercurrent began to emerge. The Akasaka Weekly Mansion is infamous for being one of the most haunted hotels in the city. Now renamed the Hotel My Stays Akasaka, the building has a long history of eerie occurrences, paranormal sightings, and ghostly apparitions that have left visitors terrified. Stories of the mansion's haunted reputation began to circulate, earning it the chilling nickname that I can't repeat here because of YouTube rules, so just use your imagination. The stories surrounding Akasaka Weekly Mansion are as varied as the people who once called it home. Some whisper of a young woman driven to despair by a broken heart, who ended her life within the building's walls. Others speak of a middle-aged businessman, driven to the brink by financial ruin, who jumped from the roof. But perhaps the most disturbing tales revolve around room 1043, where the veil between the living and the dead is said to be thinnest. Room 1043 stands empty now, its door sealed shut, a stark reminder of the horrors it has witnessed. Those who have dared to enter describe a sudden, overwhelming feeling of dread. Objects are said to move on their own, and electronic devices malfunction inexplicably. But it's the disembodied voices, the whispers that seem to emanate from the very walls themselves, that truly unnerve visitors. One chilling account tells of a group of paranormal investigators who spent the night in the room. As the night wore on, they began to experience a series of increasingly disturbing events. Objects began to move, and a woman's voice, mournful and filled with despair, whispered through the static, "Get out, while you still can." The investigators, shaken but determined, pressed on, asking questions into the darkness. The experience left them shaken, their skepticism replaced by a newfound belief in the unseen forces that haunt Akasaka Weekly Mansion. After some time, the activity within the room intensified. A heavy cabinet door swung open, its contents spilling onto the floor. The investigator saw a fleeting glimpse of a figure standing in the shadows, a translucent silhouette of a woman in a long white dress. They fled the room, their equipment abandoned in their haste to escape the palpable sense of dread. The stories of Akasaka Weekly Mansion paint a picture of a place steeped in sorrow. Some believe it's the sheer number of deaths that have occurred within its walls, creating a vortex of paranormal activity. Whatever the reason, Akasaka Weekly Mansion stands as a testament to the enduring power of the past. Many guests have reported waking up in the middle of the night to see a dark figure standing at the foot of their bed. The entity often vanishes as soon as the person moves or turns on the light. Some say it appears to be a shadowy woman in a kimono, while others describe it as a faceless figure. Even when the air conditioning is off, guests have felt sudden cold spots in their rooms. Strange knocking sounds, whispers, and even distant screams have been heard from seemingly empty rooms. One of the most terrifying stories involves guests feeling a ghostly hand touching their faces or pulling their blankets at night. Some have even reported a sensation of invisible hands pressing down on their chest, making it hard to breathe, which often associated with the Japanese folklore of kanashibari, or sleep paralysis caused by spirits. Multiple guests have reported faucets turning on by themselves, reflections in mirrors that do not match reality, and even the feeling of unseen eyes watching them while they shower. Since being rebranded as Hotel My Stays Akasaka, the management does not acknowledge the hauntings, but reports of eerie occurrences continue. Paranormal investigators and thrill seekers still visit in hopes of experiencing its supernatural reputation firsthand. Our next destination, the old Tokyo Imperial Palace, a sprawling complex that has witnessed centuries of power, intrigue, and perhaps even the supernatural. Prepare yourselves, for the spirits of emperors and samurai await. The air hangs heavy with history as we approach the imposing gates of the old Tokyo Imperial Palace. Once the beating heart of Imperial Japan, this sprawling complex now stands as a silent sentinel. But behind the meticulously maintained gardens and serene moats, a darkness lingers. Whispers of restless spirits and unexplained phenomena have plagued the palace for generations. The energy of countless lives lived and lost seems to permeate every stone, every tree. Are you ready to confront the ghosts of Japan's imperial past? Towering stone walls, weathered by time and draped in moss, guide our path through the palace grounds. Each stone seems to whisper tales of loyalty, honor, and the unwavering dedication of the samurai warriors who once guarded these very walls. Locals speak of encountering spectral samurai patrolling the palace perimeters, their armor gleaming under the moonlight. Some claim to have felt the chilling touch of a ghostly hand on their shoulder, a warning to turn back. The samurai spirit looms large over the imperial palace, their presence felt, but never quite seen. Deep within the heart of the palace complex lies the former site of Edo Castle's keep. It's here that the spirit of Tokugawa Ieyasu, the formidable shogun who unified Japan in the 17th century, is said to roam. His rise to power was paved with bloodshed and betrayal, and it's these darker aspects of his past that are said to haunt the palace grounds. Legend has it that Ieyasu, haunted by the ghosts of those he'd vanquished, sought to ensure his spirit would remain tethered to the mortal realm. The stories surrounding Ieyasu's ghost are as persistent as they are chilling. Visitors to the former site of Edo Castle's keep report feeling a palpable shift in energy, a sudden heaviness in the air. Some claim to have heard the ghostly clack of Ieyasu's war sandals echoing through the empty halls. Others describe seeing a fleeting glimpse of his imposing figure, clad in ornate armor. But it's the whispers, the hushed voices seemingly carried on the wind, that truly unnerve those who dare to venture into this part of the palace. The silence here is deafening, filled with the echoes of past grievances and the watchful presence of a ruler who refuses to relinquish his hold on power. The stories of samurai and shoguns are not the only ones that haunt the imperial palace. Love, betrayal, and the tragic fate of a young lady-in-waiting add a layer of sorrow to the palace's already eerie atmosphere. Her name, whispered in hushed tones, is said to be Otsuyu, and her tale is one of heartbreak and jealousy. Otsuyu, known for her beauty and grace, served as a lady-in-waiting to a high-ranking noblewoman within the imperial palace. She fell deeply in love with a young samurai, their secret rendezvous hidden from the watchful eyes of the court. Bound to the place of her greatest happiness and deepest sorrow, Otsuyu is said to wander the palace gardens, her mournful cries echoing through the night. Visitors to the palace gardens often report feeling a sudden chill, a drop in temperature, accompanied by an overwhelming sense of sadness. Some claim to have heard Otsuyu's plaintive cries, her voice a mournful whisper carried on the wind. Others describe seeing a fleeting glimpse of her spectral form, a young woman in a flowing white kimono, her face hidden behind a veil of long dark hair. The story of Otsuyu, the heartbroken lady-in-waiting, adds a layer of human tragedy to the already eerie atmosphere of the imperial palace. It's a reminder that even within these walls of power and grandeur, love and loss, joy and sorrow played out just as they did in the lives of ordinary people. The imperial palace, with its tales of samurai warriors, scheming shoguns, and heartbroken lovers, is a tapestry woven from threads of history, legend, and the supernatural. Tucked away in Yotsuya lies Oiwa Shrine. The story takes place during the Edo period and revolves around Oiwa, a woman married to a samurai named Tamiya Yemon. Though Oiwa was a devoted wife, Yemon was an ambitious and cruel man who sought to improve his social status. One day, Yemon fell in love with another woman, Uma, the granddaughter of a wealthy doctor. Uma's family wanted Yemon to marry her instead of Oiwa, so they conspired to get rid of his wife. They gave Oiwa a poisoned facial cream, telling her it would enhance her beauty. However, when Oiwa applied it, her face became horribly disfigured. Her skin sagged, one eye drooped, and her hair began to fall out. Realizing she had been tricked, Oiwa was devastated. She fell into a deep despair, and in some versions of the tale, Yemon forced her to look at herself in the mirror, causing her to go mad. In grief and agony, Oiwa either took her own life with a blade or was murdered by Yemon. Before dying, she cursed Yemon, vowing vengeance. Yemon quickly married Ume, but on their wedding night, he was haunted by terrifying visions of Oiwa's grotesque, vengeful spirit. He would see her horribly disfigured face in lanterns, in reflections, and even in Ume's face, causing him to lash out and accidentally kill his new bride. Eventually, Oiwa's ghost drove Yemen insane and he met a gruesome end. To this day, Oiwa's restless spirit is believed to linger. The Oiwa Shrine, located in Tokyo's Yotsuya district, is said to have been built to appease her ghost. Many believe that disturbing the shrine or disrespecting Oiwa's memory can bring misfortune or even death. Even in modern times, actors and filmmakers who adapt Yotsuya Kaidan often visit the shrine to pay their respects before working on any film, play, or TV adaptation of the story. It is said that those who fail to do so may face strange accidents or eerie misfortunes during production. Oiwa's legend remains one of Japan's most famous ghost stories and has inspired countless adaptations in kabuki theater, movies, and literature. Her vengeful ghost, with her long black hair and grotesquely twisted face, has even influenced the modern yurei ghost archetype seen in Japanese horror films like The Ring, and Ju-on, better known in the US as The Grudge. The Sendagaya Tunnel, located in Shibuya, Tokyo, Japan, is one of the most famous haunted locations in the city. The tunnel runs beneath Shinjuku-gyoen National Garden, a place with a dark past that may be the source of the paranormal activity reported there. The Sendagaya Tunnel was constructed as part of the Tokyo Metropolitan Expressway system to ease traffic congestion in the area. However, long before the tunnel was built, the land had a history of death, destruction, and mystery. One popular theory is that the land where the tunnel stands was once a site for public executions during the Edo period. It was common for Tokyo, then known as Edo, to have execution grounds where criminals and dissidents were beheaded or tortured. The restless spirits of these individuals are believed to haunt the tunnel. Another story suggests that part of the Shinjuku-gyoen National Garden, which the tunnel passes beneath, was once a burial ground. When the tunnel was dug, the construction disturbed the graves, leading to vengeful spirits haunting the area. During World War II, Tokyo was heavily bombed, and many civilians were killed in the surrounding area. Some say the spirits of those who died in these bombings still linger in the tunnel, creating an eerie and sorrowful presence. Over the years, numerous paranormal encounters have been reported in and around the tunnel. One of the most famous ghost stories associated with the tunnel is that of a pale woman dressed in white. Drivers and pedestrians have reported seeing her standing in the tunnel, often appearing suddenly before vanishing. Some claim that if you stare at her too long, she will begin to chase you. Many drivers have reported looking in their rearview mirrors while passing through the tunnel, only to see a ghostly face staring back at them, even though no one is in the back seat. A terrifying phenomenon involves strange handprints appearing on car windows after people drive through the tunnel. Some say the handprints belong to spirits of children who perished there. People have reported that their car engines stall, radios stop working, and phone batteries drain rapidly when they enter the tunnel, common signs of supernatural activity. Pedestrians have heard whispers, footsteps, and even screams while walking through or near the tunnel at night, even when no one else is around. The Sendagaya Tunnel has become a hotspot for paranormal enthusiasts, ghost hunters, and urban legend researchers. Many locals avoid it at night due to its eerie reputation. Despite being an important roadway, it carries an unsettling atmosphere of fear and mystery. Toyama Park, located in Shinjuku, Tokyo, is a public park with a complex history that intertwines periods of nobility, military use, and post-war redevelopment. This multifaceted past has contributed to its reputation as one of Tokyo's most haunted locations. Originally, the area now encompassing Toyama Park served as the garden for the Tokugawa family's Mito domain during Japan's feudal era. This connection to the Tokugawa shogunate marked it as a place of prestige and natural beauty. In the early 20th century, the site transitioned to military use, housing several medical facilities associated with the Imperial Japanese Army. Notably, during World War II, it is alleged that the infamous Unit 731, known for its biological and chemical warfare research involving human experimentation, utilized this area. Rumors suggest that after these experiments, victims' bodies were transported to Tokyo for analysis and subsequently buried in mass graves where Toyama Park now lies. Following the war, in 1954, the remnants of the military installations were repurposed to establish Toyama Park. The park was divided into two main areas by Meiji Avenue. the Okubo area, developed on part of the old firing range, and the Hakoneyama area, situated on the former grounds of the Army College. Hakoneyama, a 44.6-meter hill within the park, stands as the highest point in Tokyo's 23 wards and is a notable feature of the landscape. In 1968, the surrounding region underwent significant redevelopment to address the housing demands of Japan's post-war baby boom. The initiative led to the creation of Toyama Heights, a series of concrete apartment towers designed to accommodate nearly 3,000 families. These structures embodied the Danchi style of planned public housing, symbolizing the era's vision for modern Japanese family life. The park's dark wartime history has given rise to numerous ghost stories and paranormal reports. Visitors have recounted hearing disembodied sobbing, particularly near the summit of Hakoneyama. Some locals claim to have witnessed hitodama, mysterious, fiery balls of light believed to represent human souls separated from their bodies. In the 1980s, skeletal remains were unearthed within the park, further fueling its haunted reputation. These discoveries, coupled with the site's association with wartime atrocities, have led many to believe that the spirits of those who suffered there continue to linger. Today, Toyama Park serves as a recreational area for the community, offering playgrounds, jogging courses, and spaces for seasonal events like cherry blossom viewing and autumn foliage appreciation. Despite its serene daytime atmosphere, the park's eerie past continues to intrigue and unsettle visitors, especially after dark. Taira no Masakado wasn't your average samurai. He was a bold rebel with ambitions bigger than Kyoto itself. A proud member of the powerful Taira clan, he decided in 939 that waiting for a promotion wasn't his style. So he went ahead and declared himself Shinu, or New Emperor, flipping the bird at the imperial court in Kyoto. Unfortunately, the central government didn't take kindly to DIY emperors, and by 940, Masakado's uprising met a swift and brutal end. As a final insult, imperial forces took his severed head on a victory tour, showcasing it in Kyoto before shipping it off to the eastern provinces as a "don't try this at home" warning. But Masakado wasn't about to let something as trivial as decapitation stop him. Legend has it, his head took a supernatural detour, flying to what is now Otemachi, where locals enshrined it to keep his restless spirit from causing havoc. Today, his grave, known as Kubizuka, Shojong Head Mound, sits quietly amid Tokyo's skyscrapers, a tiny patch of tranquility surrounded by the very civilization he once tried to overthrow. Fast forward to the Edo period, and even the Tokugawa shogunate knew better than to mess with Masakado's resting place, treating it as a sacred site. The early 20th century, however, saw a few brave, or foolish souls attempt to build government offices over the grave. Bad idea. A string of mysterious accidents and misfortunes soon followed, convincing officials to restore the site rather than risk further supernatural revenge. Masakado's ghost has since built up quite the reputation as an onryo, yuanling, vengeful spirit, with some blaming him for everything from workplace mishaps to earthquakes. In 1923, after the Great Kanto earthquake, plans to relocate his grave met fierce resistance. Nobody wanted to be responsible for waking an angry samurai spirit. Even today, businesses in Otemachi hold ceremonies to keep him appeased. Because, well, better safe than haunted. Despite its eerie backstory, Masakado's grave remains an understated yet fascinating sight, with a simple stone monument surrounded by offerings of flowers, incense, and sake. Visitors still stop by, whether to pay respects or just to experience a piece of Japan's haunted history. But wait, there's more. Masakado's legacy doesn't end with him. His daughter Takiya Shihime took up the family tradition of defiance, only with a magical twist. According to legend, she became a powerful sorceress who set out to avenge her father, proving that rebellion really does run in the family. Her story has been immortalized in Japanese folklore and art, most famously in Utagawa Kuniyoshi's ukiyo-e print, Takayasha the Witch and the Skeleton Spectre. The artwork depicts her summoning a massive ghostly skeleton to battle the hero, Mitsukuni, a scene that perfectly captures her mix of vengeance, sorcery, and sheer dramatic flair. So while Masakado may have lost his head, literally, his legend lives on, through folklore, ghost stories, and the lingering sense that maybe, just maybe, it's best not to disturb his eternal rest. Nestled in Adachi, just north of Shinjuku, Kohoku Bridge has gained a chilling reputation as one of Tokyo's most haunted locations. Known for its high number of traffic accidents, the bridge has also been the site of numerous ghost sightings, cementing its eerie status over the years. The legend began over 3 decades ago. On December 12, 1989, a car mysteriously veered off the bridge, crashing through the guardrail and plunging into the river below. Strangely, the driver's body was never recovered. Following this incident, multiple similar accidents occurred with cars inexplicably swerving off the bridge. Survivors reported a strange phenomenon. As they drove, their vision distorted, making the bridge appear to curve sharply. Instinctively, they turned their steering wheels to adjust, only to drive straight off the edge. Due to these repeated tragedies, the bridge was reconstructed in the mid-90s with reinforced guardrails, which seemed to reduce the number of accidents. But the hauntings didn't stop. Many who crossed the bridge claim to see the apparition of a woman floating nearby. Her identity remains a mystery. Was she a victim of one of the accidents, or did she have a connection to the area before her death? Some have reported encounters with a phantom cyclist who chases pedestrians, while others speak of various restless spirits lurking around the bridge. The sheer number of paranormal experiences has led to purification rituals being performed at the site, but with no success. A well-known medium once visited in an attempt to cleanse the area, but ultimately declared, "There's nothing that can be done here." Some believe that simply walking across the bridge at night brings a curse. Ghosts aren't just seen on the bridge itself. Groups of spirits are said to gather underneath near the riverbed. A man who attended a baseball game nearby once felt a firm tap on his shoulder, only to turn around and find no one there. A spiritual expert suggested that the land beneath the bridge acts as a supernatural magnet, with the river's natural energy amplifying the presence of ghosts, making accidents and hauntings more frequent. There have been the eerie sound of distant drums and orchestral music said to lure people toward the edge. Drivers suddenly feeling an overwhelming sense of exhaustion, unable to grip the wheel. When they glance out their window, they're met with the unsettling gaze of a pale-faced woman, an elderly ghost and his dog strolling along the footpath, cameras malfunctioning when aimed at the bridge, yet working perfectly fine when pointed elsewhere. Whether or not the ghost stories are real, one thing is undeniable. Kohoku Bridge remains a hotspot for accidents and unexplained phenomena. If you ever find yourself crossing it, proceed with caution. You never know what might be lurking in the shadows. Wow, what an experience! Exploring the most haunted places in Tokyo was equal parts chilling and fascinating. The history, the eerie legends, and those ghostly vibes. I couldn't have asked for a better paranormal adventure, but beyond the hauntings, Tokyo itself was absolutely breathtaking. The culture, the food, the neon lights, and the way the city never sleeps, probably because of all the ghosts, let's be honest, made this an unforgettable trip. Japan has such a rich history of spirits and supernatural tales, and after visiting these haunted hotspots, I can see why. Whether it was the restless spirits of Aoyama Cemetery, the eerie encounters at the Sunshine 60 building, or the ghostly apparitions of the Akasaka mansion, I felt like I was stepping into an entirely different world, one where the past never really leaves. And let's just say, some of these places had me looking over my shoulder way more than I'd like to admit. But now that I've got my passport, the question is, where should I go next? The world is full of haunted places just waiting to be explored. Should I check out the ghostly castles of Scotland, the abandoned asylums of the US, maybe take a deep dive into the paranormal mysteries of Mexico? Or should I give myself a break and visit a beach that, hopefully, isn't haunted? Let me know in the comments. Just don't send me anywhere with cursed dolls. I'd draw the line at that. One thing's for sure, there are creepy, haunted places lurking in every corner of the world. No matter where you go, whether it's a bustling city or a quiet village, you're never too far from a good ghost story. It's almost comforting in a weird way, until you realize you're the only one in the room and something just whispered your name. And if you love all things spooky, haunted, and mysterious, make sure to subscribe. There's so much more to come, more haunted locations, more ghost stories, and probably more moments of me regretting my life choices in the middle of a pitch-black hallway. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Hit that like button if you'd be brave enough to visit these haunted spots, and drop a comment about your favorite ghost story.